Now, whether she could fit in the car or not, I'm like, because they saying, well, did she order the lift or did she not order the lift? It don't matter. The receipt's going to hold up on its own right off the bat. So it don't matter how dumb the conversation sounds, how stupid it is. The receipts are going to speak for themselves. So once she get a quarter receipt, all the receipts going to speak. So it ain't really going to matter what she say. She could say, well, blah, 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 blah. Don't matter how off the story, how no matter how off she is, how it really went, the receipts gonna speak for themselves. So, like he said, but she can't fit in a car. But the thing to me with that is like, false advertisement is a serious thing. They should have been sued because it's false advertisement. Like, your company should know that there are big people that will get in these cars. Your company should know that. So that's like a really big slap in the face to all modeling companies and everything, because it's like people always want to tell you about how thin you should be. So if you know women should be thin and women should carry themselves a certain kind of way, then you should know that if you're going to be picking people up, you should be prepared to already engage weight and height and size. So your company should say, how much do you weigh? How tall are you? What's your size? Okay, that helps us understand what vehicle to come get you and pick you up with. Like, no, I already paid for your services. I paid for my services. I did my due diligence. It ain't my place to do your whole job, to sit here and be a robot, AI robot, and sort through all these damn cars and see which one is gonna be the best. No, that's your job. Since you know so much about my height and my weight and how I'm supposed to look, then you should be prepared in case my big ass come out here looking for a ride. I ain't gonna do your job for you, smart ass. Now how about that? Now, I bet your ass ain't want that lawsuit either, did you? Okay? I bet they ain't want that lawsuit either, but that ass got it. Okay? I bet they ain't want to be fired, but that ass got fired. So how about that? I bet they ain't want that shit either, though, did they? Coming in and talking about what the hell is they on? Now, do your job, Mr. Image Consultant, since women have to be of a certain look and certain figurative look. No. I already did my part. I paid you my money. I paid you my money. This changes the game completely. Shit. The hell I look like? Right? Now they know they need to do that. They dead ass wrong. That's called being picky. That's called being nitpicky. That's what that is. That's nitpicking. Now you know big people may want to get a ride. It should be up to your company, courtesy of the company, to ask people questions as in, are you a big person? Just like when you go to the airport, what do they ask you? How many bags are you carrying? Big bags, small bags. If you take a cab to the airport, the cab driver asks you, what kind of bags do you need me to help you with? Depending on the size of the bag, depends on the price you're going to pay to get that. And that's any ride though. Anytime you traveling and you got to carry, they ask you what's the size you carrying. What's the amount of weight you carrying? Why? Because guess what? You might be carrying more than I can handle. Or you might be putting pressure on my vehicle, so therefore I have to charge a little bit more. You know what I mean? But she right, she should have sued them. All these jokes and slick comments people making about people hunger, people needing love. People always thinking shit's a game till that ass gets shook. Then shit gets real. Shit gets real. People think it be a game till that ass gets shook. Till that ass gets shook, then motherfuckers recognize shit's real. It's just not a game no more. You know what I mean? Be ready though. Don't get the accolade you don't know. You know? And shake some. You know what I mean? It's real. So I just be like, you know what I'm saying? Like, be fair to people. Treat people like a human being, like a decent human being. Some people are bigger than others. Everybody ain't no supermodel. Everybody ain't on the front cover of a magazine. Thinly proportioned and whatnot. Everybody ain't a celebrity dancing on stage with everything in place. So I'm just like, people should be a little more sensitive and a little more, considerate to what people got going on. It's like, just like when shit happens, it's just like the form of domestic abuse and all. Like, people take, no accountability to how, you got to go through so much to get a restraining order, and then you got to go through evidence. I'm like, people should be considerate. You got problems in the home. What happened to a little thing I like to call camera? See, that's how you be considerate. Get a camera. Have some evidence in the house. Show people what's going on. I just don't understand why the city don't get cameras in a lot of places either. Because that would help if they would automatically just have cameras that people could at least get some kind of help if they had cameras in the neighborhood. Instead of all this he say, she say, and going off on eyewitnesses when the history of the word has shown you that, what happens when people have to count on too many eyewitnesses, especially when you live in a time when people lie. People are good for lying. Man, lying is like second nature. Matter of fact, it's just like sex. It pays to lie. There's a strip club right the road, so you can do it. People be lying. Cause I don't know how you put a strip club in a cheaper food market all in the same dang place right across the Burger King. Explain now. Explain how Burger King and the strip club is all in the same dang vicinity. I don't even know what that is. I guess it's just like a juke joint. Maybe it's not a strip club. It might be just some kind of juke joint. It's a strip club though. It's some kind of dancer, some kind of erotic dancer. I don't know what's going on up in there. But, it go to show you that people are just so critical. People are so concerned about looks. And things that people can't help. God say, grant me the serenity to accept things I cannot change, the power to change the things I can, the wisdom and knowledge to know the difference. You see what I'm saying? And the power to do so. So I'm just like, it really just amazes me how people can really expect a miracle out of each other. You know what I'm saying? Like, what does, and then it's like, did you see LYFT? Man, and I looked at the ad, man. It was so many cars on that LYFT, yo. This is Albany, and in this city, man, you be good if you could find a cab just literally on just any day, any old given day, man. You'll be good. Every time I call a cab driver, they always busy. They never available. They're always out of town. They're always going here. Very unreliable. Very unreliable. Then they want to call somebody lazy. But here you are doing your part to get the results you looking for. And he ain't going to do it. he ain't gonna give you no ride. You know what I'm saying? Not to my knowledge, it sure ain't no pretty privilege. So let me just come out here in the open and see if I can, because in a small city, I mean, hey, I don't see many of my people just lounge around the road. I really don't. I roll around the city. People are always, you sort of could tell, you just know, you could tell which ones. And it ain't I could count on one hand how many people just walking around the city. I could count on one hand. I go out here in the city at any given time, and I already know ain't nobody gonna be out there walking. So if I see some odd, if it's something strange, but it do look good, who you gonna call? you know, if it's something strange, you know. So I was just like, that's supposed to be the pretty privilege, right? You're supposed to be able to say, well, look, I need a ride, and all the cabs are out of town, and they keep saying they're busy, and they're occupied. But when I looked at that Lyft, man, the Lyft service had bouquets of cars attached to that company, yo. And it's just like, it just goes to show you that, the little things people take advantage of in life. Really, a ride. I could have been in my home relaxing and enjoying my day. People, that's what I mean by just people being demons and just nasty. Because it's like, this ain't a rich area. This ain't no rich city. All around the city ain't nothing rich but somebody who work a certain type of job. You ain't got that kind of money just sprouting around this city like that. Ain't nobody riding no real nice Cadillac on rims. I don't need no Mercedes. I don't need no Lincoln Benz or no quarter mil Bentley or whatever, or Maybach. Like, yeah, give me one of those real nice whips on the rims. I would feel even more complimented. Because those men have a certain taste for the candy. Oh, that's the same feeling I always seem to get over you. Yes, I do. Fascinate me. I've never told the things that you do. I get to look my best for you. Woo! It's set the sun now. Hey! But that's what I be on right there. Like, instead of feeling, lost in the night, yeah, no, the rest. What you say? Instead of feeling lost in the night, instead of feeling your world just ain't right, call on me, I will be waiting. Count on me, I will be there. Instead of feeling like your times get too tough, when you feel your best ain't enough. Yeah, well, that's what I mean, though. Like, there ought to be like a way to like allow people. There ought to be a law against rudeness. Like, instead of everything just always being disorderly conduct, or what they call the terroristics, the terror and horror of your words. Your words are horrific. I'm going to call you a terror. A terror. Yay for the parade. I don't know. We're going to rah, rah, rah. Okay. Maria, Marianne, Marianda, okay, Marianne, Okay? I am. Or is it Marianne? Miranda, right? Am I right? I'm right. Okay. So, read that. Read me. Read me. Read me. Read me. My man, you know, Miranda Rice. You know, sometimes they do forget. Now, how do you prove that, right? Well, now they got cameras attached to them, you know, and everybody want to claim small city, you know, but by this day and age, there shouldn't be no investigation office that ain't got no cameras in them. By now, 2025, every investigation office around the country should have cameras in it. Historically speaking, you know, just out of respect, you know, no, not, you know, our people, no, we shouldn't have to go into any interrogation office. And you ain't got no camera, I ain't going in there. I ain't going in there, I ain't saying shit. You know? And I want people, like, people need to find ways to, like, cause like, it's always something. Like, what's wrong with these cities? Like, if cities are not for you and they don't want to work with you, you can't get no job, you can't get no progress started, you ain't getting no foundation grounded for yourself. Like, if cities are just so not for this person, does it give people a right just to sit around getting fat? So what you gonna do, sit in your city and just sit there and eat yourself 400 pounds? Is that what you're gonna do? Get a job and suddenly when, you know, you make a decision, you're fired? I'm like, what's really going on in the city? Like, how you gonna tell someone else to get the thorn out their eye? You ain't got it out your own. You know, people always saying you should move on. A little voice, no, that voice ain't telling you to move on. Not in the sense of what you're thinking, move on. The voice in your head is telling you to move on from yourself. Replenish yourself. That's just like giving yourself a baptism. Like it's telling you to move on because there's a better way. But not a better way in the means of physically tickets and cars and greyhounds and and lifts and out of city and state vehicles and occupying the road. Like, move on and keep it moving. That little voice in the back of your head, that's the indication of saying, like, you know what I'm saying, you need to replenish. You know, you gotta find another way to think, find another way to eat. You know what I'm saying? A better way, you know? Baptize your thinking. Change your ways, you know? That's really, it's like, it's metaphorically speaking. It's not really saying, because I'm like, you know, obviously there's a glitch and a tug, a struggle, and moving on. Just like she was ready to move on and do something that day, and just that quickly an obstacle came in her way and she couldn't get where she wanted to be. You see what I'm saying? An obstacle just that quickly. So it shows you that just trying to tell people to move on. Like, if you're in a college city and you can't be fundamentally worth anything to a person, that's a major red flag. That's a sign that something's seriously wrong with your program. Something's wrong with your mechanism. Because there shouldn't be no reason why if you are in a college-based city with transportation, with city vehicles, what's the problem? Why are you being told to move on? What's not helping you? What's not sorting things out for you? See, we all just gotta realize that at some point, see, I think that money has made people forget that in the day, you know, is the good Lord above, yourself, and those you surround yourself with. Because people are not animals. See what I'm saying? See, people always have to compare themselves to wildlife in the jungle. But see, when God made Adam and Eve, he placed all mankind, boom, right there together. Like, there's the lion, the tiger, the bear, and then there's a human being. See, we're not really separated. No human being is separated from the next one. It's just that if God told me not to eat the apple, and he told you to not to eat the apple, if you run over there and eat the apple, that don't make us separate. We both kicked out the garden now, and we still all we got. See what I'm saying? See, man's decisions has a way of making you think that you're separate from the next person, but actually all human beings are the same. Just like no sin is greater than the next one. But you could think that because the way human beings judge things, you would think one sin, that something that someone does should deserve, you know, the definitive consequences beyond. It's a consequence for it. But unless a person's just sick-minded and just gone, you know, then, yeah, your times to serve is not a life sentence. See, it's already a sin to charge people life sentences if they're able to be, you know, back out with society. That's where they should be. See what I'm saying? See, people like to start off everything with these horrendous sentences. Because I'm at the same time, though, it's like, you know, it take a fool to keep forgiving and forgiving and forgiving or overlooking people's ignorance. Because, see, if I put myself in a predicament to make somebody come at me in a foul way, I can't go scream and cry wolf and say, oh, well, you did this. I'm like, you know, it's like people need to find a way to use their head and use their sense. Like, make sense of some shit. Now, I'm not going to sit here and pamper you and baby you and you sitting here instigating shit. You sitting here bothering people. No, I'm not. I'm not going to get in the middle of it. And matter of fact, that's what I'm saying, though. Like, if there's a situation involved, shouldn't it make sense? With so much on the line and so many things that can be, so much damage that can happen, instead of me just sitting here, okay, well, let me just choose one side. They ought to have city cameras where it's like, you know, let me set up a little camera in front of this building, in front of this house. Because the minute you call a domestic dispute, they should put a stick camera on your lawn that indicates we don't know whose side to choose. We're going to put this here. You are not allowed to remove it. Anybody removes it, and both of y'all, here you go. The camera will see who did it. It'll be able to be validated for, you know what I'm saying? I'm just like, it's just like way too easy for people to make big, huge, gigantic decisions in people's lives that make a big, big impact. And, you know, who pays for that? Because there really is no direct law that indicates that, you know, he can't signify that he wants to cancel that ride. Just like when, you know, you want to have service with a bank and they cancel, you say they don't like your credit history. They don't want to service you. So if he feels as if maybe she's too big for his car, and he just simply says, I appreciate if you find a different driver. And it's not like he didn't give other reasons. Well, I don't want, because you're blah, 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 you're blah, 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 blah. So I'm not going to, like, that's a reasonable reason. Like, yeah, like, I doubt he runs across people that big every day, especially females. I doubt that. I really doubt that. He might have had a lot of suitcases or maybe a lot of weight put in his car from things people have put in there, but I doubt he's ever ran across a woman that big. And he just knew, wow, like, because it could also be the seatbelts. Could it be the seatbelt might not have been big enough to support her weight. But because he made a decision to deny the ride, because what if he would have said okay and then something would have happened? Now who's the fault? Who's the liability on? Is that liability on him or is that liability on the company? But there is nothing that definitively say as into like him denying a ride for that cause might seem like he's being funny, but he's trying to be specifically just being what they would call a goody two shoes. Like, I'm too good to be seen riding with you. You know what I'm saying? But at the end of the day, it's like, I thought companies could deny service to anybody for any reason at all. They don't really have to give you a reason. But at this point, technically, I do think that sort of was of some kind of significant reason, given how LYFT does have vehicles that are specifically designed for heavy artillery. So the fact that he made that cautious decision, now why he ain't just mentioned that, I think he did mention it, but it's like, then again, he mentioned the company rule, which was to, insist on a heavy artillery vehicle. You see what I'm saying? Giving the size of the seat, because see, with other vehicles, the seats might be bigger. They might be more, more huge for her comfort at the same time. Because some of these cars are like machine operated. Like, the seats can actually come out from underneath the bottom and give you extra room to sit down on. So like, if you want to sit down, the seat will pull out and make it longer. And then, like, if you're tall, the seat will come up so you can lean your head back. So even though some of these vehicles are probably more expensive and they probably cost you a little bit more money, at the end of the day, though, it's like, then again, in protocol, there are cars that are more suitable for her. But he was fired. So, I'm just saying, though, like, why? I don't understand, y'all. I guess if you went in school or you went in college or, you ain't got one of these mental institution jobs or a job at the hospital or a job working for the law system in any form of fashionable kind of way, or if you ain't some black man talking down on some black female, or if you ain't some black female trying to do the job of whatever other situations going on, trying to be the big dog, there, then it's almost to indicate, it's almost like you're saying you ugly, you irrelevant, you don't matter. If you ain't no size 8 or lower, you still ugly, you don't matter. So that's literally what you're saying. You're saying that the whole world just is centered around everyone else are just freaks and outcasts if you don't fit in this category. You know, you're literally just like game for the rest of the men, the working men and the city working men and the other men, if they'll tolerate you or not. The ball players, the ballers, you just a game to them. You just, that's literally what you're saying. You're putting people on a pedestal of saying, you know, if you don't fit in these categories. Cleanliness is next to godliness. I'm like, above all, like, I don't mean to poo-poo that situation, but at the same time, let's talk about cleanliness. They always talk about EBT take too much out of the city, and Social Security takes too much out of the whole the country funds. But my thing is though, what about cleaning yourself? These checks are literally just to get you paying the bills and putting some food in the fridge. But now let's not, sit here and chuckle and jive that it ain't enough. It ain't enough. They are, and if they do give you just enough, they ought to have a certain amount of money you can use for laundry expenses alone. They should have a service with all laundromats and stuff to where you can give them a certain card or a certain thing, voucher, and they'll give you money, and they can keep that in their tax bracket and show that this is what the person has came with this, with their name and everything on it, so that people can wash their clothes. It's like, and that could be all it's used for. Like, unless you gonna wash your clothes, you can't use it. Like, you can't just turn it in, cash it in for money, and then get the cash and leave. Like, you have to be there and actually in there washing them. You know what I'm saying? It's like that's like I said, people just always complain about one thing and another. Like, it just amazes me how people don't acknowledge that, because it's like, that's what I mean by, it's like, it's not really just a way of just discouraging and just simply trying to say that, people ain't doing their job here, people ain't doing their job there, but it does give attention to, where are people heads at? Like, why aren't people thinking clearly? Why aren't people thinking logically about things? Is you need to be able to think when you go out your house, and you need to be able to think when you come in your house. You know what I'm saying? Like, I just feel like people ain't screwed tight these days, And it ain't got nothing to do with nobody being born in the 80s or the 70s or the 20s or the 1900s. A human being is a human being. Because Jesus was born way, way, way before, and it ain't nothing underneath the sun going on that they don't know about. They ain't seen, and, ain't nothing new. You ain't showing nobody nothing new. As the Bible says, be careful not to strengthen the hand of the enemy. So don't think you bringing nothing new to the table, because you ain't showing nothing. You ain't doing nothing. You ain't putting nothing down. You ain't doing nothing. At the end of the day, it comes out with another sad story, another broken heart, an attempt to make something happen, and a failure to get it done. But that ain't what you want, though. That ain't what you want. You don't want a failure to make things happen. The whole point is for the good news to spread through, and for good things to happen. Because see, it's supposed to be the land of milk and honey. That means no one's complaining, no one's crying. And you can't get your head in the game. You can't get your head on what's going on. Why not? What make you any different from any other human being? What are we hustling for? What are your goals? What are you trying to see happen? Everybody on it want to be a baller, shot caller, 20-inch blades on the Impala, or riding first class. I don't know. Every time I think of flying first class, I don't know why I always think about an apple. I don't know, what does an apple have to do with first class flying? I don't know why I always think of apple when I think about riding VIP, flying in the air, VIP first class with mink fur seats and leather interior and champagne and carry-on, which I've never had carry-on. But I'm just saying, the good things that could come when people use their head and get their head in the game and think and not be so quick to think for other people. Like I said before, I say it again. If people want to go to Burger King and get them a hamburger, let them get it. I don't know why you get these places. People feel like you got to make a sacrifice or you got to take an L or something. You better take this money, which I'm spending on, or your only L gonna be, Cause I'm just like, no, use your head. See, it's no sense in the L because, see, this is a job. You're supposed to be using your head. You're supposed to be using your head. This is a job you on. See, see what I'm saying? See, there are times when maybe people want to see where you at. But when you working, this is business. I ain't trying to hear nothing personal. I ain't trying to go off on none of this shit on this where you gonna be coming over here. No, this is a business. Business. My money, the transaction, nothing more, nothing less. You know what I'm saying? Come down to people money, you know what I'm saying? People should already know, don't play around. Don't play around. There's one L you don't want to find out the hard way. You see what I'm saying? Don't play around. You see what I mean? Because I'm just like, this is supposed to be business. That's how people get so many things confused and misguided and all off track, because people mix business with pleasure. When I step up into a company, I don't owe nobody here a damn thing. I don't know you from Adam and Eve. I don't owe you a damn thing. Not a damn on thing. No. Because I already know what I'm coming in here for. People already have it hard enough. People already choked up in the world. What give you a right to check a motherfucker? I'm like, hold on. And the sad part is you go to uppity restaurants and they know they gotta serve you whether they want to or not. You go to these little restaurants at Burger King and they act all stank like, like, child, I know the hamburger ain't but $2. I ain't asked you that though. I didn't ask you how much it costs. I just said, fix it and hand it to me. People be wanting to be people mama, they daddy, and all this. People be wanting to go over beyond an extra. There's no excuse. You know what I'm saying? People always say, well, it's the Burger King, child. That's how these people are in these old restaurants. It's no excuse. Cause you take that ass to court, and all of a sudden they not on that corner no more. Or suddenly that store ain't there no more. You now there's a whole nother kind of company you buying. That's all I'm saying. Like, you know what I'm saying? Cause it's like that's an indication that, you know what I'm saying, you know who you can fit, you know who you can't fit. You know who you trying to eat on. You know who you can't eat on. And see, I can't stand that. I can't stand when companies, allow people to throw salt in the game and misguide people, and suddenly, it's supposed to be okay. And they think because they work here or you're the big loser, they get the W. And they just take advantage and keep it moving. And that's the worst feeling you can make a person feel, is to have someone working on your company deliberately mistreating people and being nasty, not addressing people emails. Just like with Walmart, when I be emailing them, they never return back my emails like they're supposed to. Nasty. Deliberately and deliberately ignoring people, not acknowledging people. And it's okay. They just get away with doing it. You see what I'm saying? That's the I think that is like the lowest feeling you can make a person feel, that you have right to take advantage of someone and then they could just get away with it. That's fighting words. Matter of fact, that's a call for some threats. That's a real quick way to get the idea of asking what your life is worth to you. Now, I'm gonna just keep it real. Don't tell me anything about no color, no scheming or racism. No, you know what I'm saying? Because it's like the minute you feel you could violate me and get away with it, and your company ain't gonna charge you or discipline you and allow me to know. Because I hate to take this to the public, because companies don't like when you publicly announce the disflattering behavior of their behavior. Because I've been in this city for I don't know how long now, and I've only been to one city meeting, and that's because it was COVID-19. They aired that shit out on TV. Yep, it's good. A city meeting started at 5 o'clock. They shut all the buses down at 4 o'clock. Do the math. How that makes sense? How you gonna start the city meeting at 5 and the buses shut down at 4? That's just like when they moved them voting booths all the way outside the city limits, and people couldn't vote. But here you trying to get a hamburger, and that's what the hell motherfuckers decide to fight for. But I'm lazy and sit on my ass all day. I can't be in my head. I ain't gonna be in my. I tell him I ain't about to be in my head. If he cares, if he cares so much, why he ain't here? See, I don't like to summon up people who don't want to be around you. You ain't gotta ask no grown behind man to come around. Let's have one thing you ain't gotta do is ask no grown ass man to come around. Trust and believe. A man knows where he wanna be. Women might very well be the reason why men do things they do. Duh. Because let me tell you something. One thing about a man, you ain't gotta tell a man where he wanna be. Because the man already knows where he wants to be. You don't see him with you. You ain't gotta summon him up. And even if you talk about it, I wish he would sit here and put them words in my damn mouth. Nigga, let me repeat myself so you don't be misunderstood. I said, thank you, I forgot, because God knows it. You know, there you come with the bull. Already. That's why I asked, look, God already got me forgetting. It wasn't even that important. Because ain't no way in hell you read out of all that just because I said you ain't got to let no man, you ain't got to put no man in your head if he either want to be around or he don't. It's so easy in this country to be gay. Trust and believe. If he wanted to be around, he'd be there. Ain't no confusion. There's no confusion. They on something. Well, time will tell. Time will tell. Well, yeah. That's true. Time will tell. But I like your body without your soul without your body. You know? Get too big for your britches. So keep your eye to the sky. Keep your eye to the sky. Keep your eye to the sky. Can you hit the note? It's